May 2011. UniCredit America, a Pennsylvania collection agency, constructed and utilized a fake courtroom to get cash out of a widow who owed a little over $4,000 to a funeral home after the death of her husband. What they succeeded in getting was $2,000 and the title to her son's car. They were able to coerce her son into giving up the car's title by threatening to put his 73-year-old mother in jail. The fake courtroom was constructed and decorated to look like an actual courtroom, with a woman pretending to be a judge. The company defended its actions by later suggesting that they never stated she was a judge and that she was simply a notary who happened to be dressed in all black. July 2022. U.S. Bank implemented sales goals for bank employees that financially rewarded them for selling certain products and services. The CFPB found that the company issued credit cards and opened other credit and deposit accounts without the knowledge of consumers and without providing required disclosures. In addition to this violating other consumer credit laws, under UDAP enforcement, the consent order required the company to cease unlawful account opening and credit reporting practices, provide appropriate consumer restitution, and pay a $37.5 million civil monetary penalty. In part 1 of this two-part collector certifications course, we will discuss UDAP, which is unfair, deceptive, and abusive acts or practices. Within this training, we will blueprint the foundation of UDAP. We will define the components of the law. We will outline the provisions and expectations. We will describe enforcement of UDAP. We will detail the collections connection, and we will also discuss interpretations of the law and wrap up with an executive summary. First of all, UDAP's foundation. Now, you may have already noticed that UDAP is unique by its name alone. UDAP is an example of an umbrella law in that it does not address specific actions as being violations. Instead, it addresses outcomes or results. While other regulations have a title and requirements contained within, the UDAP federal regulation gets its name from any financial services activities that result in consumers being impacted by unfair, deceptive, and abusive acts or practices. The financial crisis of 2008 brought to light many failures of our financial system. One of these was the lack of transparency and accountability of certain financial institutions. The Dodd-Frank Act of 2010 helped establish rules to protect consumers and ensure that lenders, banks, and other financial service providers deal with consumers fairly and ethically. Both the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, and the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, are responsible for ensuring that these entities live up to these rules. The objective? Protect consumers and boost consumer confidence in financial transactions. Also unique, UDAP is not specific to one industry. Its application is extremely broad, applying to all financial products and services. Introduction. The Service Members Civil Relief Act, or SCRA, provides legal protections and benefits to active duty service members of the U.S. Armed Forces. It covers various aspects of their financial and legal affairs to help alleviate some of the burdens that can arise during their military service. Now, while SCRA training is essential for service members, their families, and professionals who work with the military personnel, it is also relevant to financial services providers to understand and apply the law and protections correctly, and to provide our service members and their families with the protections they deserve. Our course objectives. Our course objectives include the history of the SCRA, the SCRA's application, the SCRA protections, the collections connection, SCRA notifications, the SCRA and credit reporting, waivers of SCRA rights, respecting SCRA rights, the statute of limitations, SCRA enforcement and penalties, and we'll conclude with our executive summary. The history of the SCRA. The SCRA was originally called the Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act, or SSCRA, when it was first enacted in 1940. The name was changed to the Service Members Civil Relief Act in 2003 to reflect the inclusion of all branches of the military. The SCRA has its roots in laws passed during World War I, thereafter expanded during World War II. The purpose was to ensure that service members could focus on their military duties without facing financial and legal hardships back home. Now, over the years, the SCRA has been amended and expanded to provide additional protections and benefits. Some key amendments to those include those related to automobile leases, life insurance, the ability to terminate certain contracts without penalty, rental agreements, mortgage interest rates, eviction protection, and the ability to postpone civil court proceedings. The SCRA's application. Question: who is covered under the SCRA? The protection applies to active duty service members for all 6 branches of the United States military, reservists on active duty, and National Guard members who are activated under federal orders. Our branches include the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marine Corps, the U.S. Coast Guard, and our newest branch, the U.S. Space Force. Introduction. In September of 2023, the CFPB announced that its complaint database had surpassed 4 million complaints since it began tracking in 2012. Now, while the database may have been off to a slow start, it took only 1 year for the database to grow from 3 million to 4 million complaints. At the present time, the CFPB forwards more than 20,000 complaints per week to companies for investigation and resolution. This volume of complaints underlines the key importance for financial services companies to implement a solid complaint resolution process. Our course objectives. This course includes the complaint management function, defining complaints, complaint investigation responsibilities, formal investigations and responses, complaint tracking, and executive level concerns. We will then transition from a reactive position regarding complaints to a proactive one. This will include complaint prevention, prevention steps and skills, and situational compliance quick tips to assist you and your staff.